Hi everybody, welcome to Asphalt Aprons with me, Donkey,
Me, Trog.
and with us today is Dr. Ian Hounsome. Hounsome, of Andy Man's Club. So we're here to find out a bit more about that. If you've never heard about it before, you should be tuning in so you can find out a bit. So Ian, tell us a little bit about Andy Man's Club.
So Andy's Man Club is a male suicide prevention charity, which is a complicated way of saying it's a talking group for guys. The problem is that guys don't talk, keep everything bottled up, and that kind of reflects in the terrible statistics that 12 men a day in the UK take their life. For men under 54, suicide is the leading cause of death in this country. You know, it's staggering. And so it's a safe, free, peer-to-peer support service with 360 venues across the UK where guys can turn up on a Monday night, have a brew, have a chat, no cost, no referral needed, and just talk about whatever's happening in their life, or just listen. And yeah, talking helps. Keeping everything bottled up is the worst thing you can do.
So how did it sort of start? What's the origins of the club starting?
Yeah, so back in 2016, there was a young lad called Andrew Roberts. He was only 23 when he took his own life. Dad, brother, uncle. Sadly, he took his own life. And all his family said was there was no warning, no outward sign. He didn't reach out to anybody. And they thought maybe could have reached out to somebody, maybe might not have taken his life. And so his brother-in-law, Luke Ambler, approached Mum Elaine and kind of went, "Can we get a coffee group for guys?" And so back 2016 down in Halifax, they put a shout out on social media, on Facebook, and 9 guys turned up the first time, and it just grew from there and grew and grew and grew. And like I say, we've got 62, 63 in Scotland, over 360 across the UK. Almost 7,000 men are using the clubs now on a Monday night. So started sadly out of tragedy, but it's helping so many now.
That some good has come out of that. It's just, as you say, it's just a pity that it takes a catalyst like that to get something moving. You mentioned earlier that one of the biggest problems with men is that we don't talk, you know, whether they feel that it's a sign of weakness if you're sort of doing it, or whether it's an age-old thing of just grin and bear it and get through it. What sort of age groups do you find coming to the clubs?
Age-wise, so we're open to any man over the age of 18. Oldest guy I know, I think he's 86, 87. He's just lonely. He's lost his life partner after 40 years of marriage. Just wants to hang out with other guys, get a coffee and a chat. Youngest guy I know is literally just turned 18. So it's all age ranges. Certain clubs have certain kind of age ranges. Some of the more rural clubs tend to have a slightly more older demographic, you know, maybe the 30 to 50-ish. Some ones tend to have a slightly younger, but it's all ages. And you know what's really good is seeing a 20-year-old talking to someone in their 60s or 70s, which normally wouldn't talk to each other. And that's really good.
Yeah, we were discussing earlier, as I said, I've been a mental health champion in my previous employment for over 10 years. Why do you think so many men find it so difficult to actually talk about how they're feeling?
I think there's a lot of fear and embarrassment, that not wanting to worry those closest to them. I've done that. I've went, don't want to worry my mum or my daughter or family, or just keep it to myself. You can go to the club and tell the lads what's happening. But I think it's very ingrained. It's almost like generational. You know, we probably all grew up with these cliches, you know, man up. Big boys don't cry. And so, I think there's this expectation that men are meant to hold it all together, you know, be the strong, supporting, you know, keep the family bond, and, you know. So it's a little bit generational, but I really do think there's a lot of fear and embarrassment and worry about talking.
I think. Do you think that there's the sort of stigma, for wanting a better word with something like that, is because normally when there's groups like this, it is for things like Alcoholics Anonymous and these sort of things that people have this vision. It's just a group of guys sitting in a circle, waiting on somebody saying, "Oh, my name's Steve and I have a problem there." Is the atmosphere a bit more relaxed? The environment more relaxed than
Ye-
these other sort of groups where as I say, nobody's judging. It's like if you want to speak, speak.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, some guys almost call it like a brotherhood because if going along week after week
Mhm.
and they're meeting the same guys but yeah, one guy made a comment about a year ago and it kind of stuck with me and he went, I've tried Narcotics Anonymous and everybody in the room is like talking about the one thing which I'm trying to get away from,
Yeah.
whether that be alcohol
Yeah.
or, or narcotic. Everybody in the room is talking about the one thing that I'm trying to forget and get off. And so you go to Andy's Man Club and yeah, everybody has different problems. It might be health related or divorce, work. It could be addiction. It could be, mental health, whatever it is. And so, yeah, it's so varied. I think really it kind of makes a difference, I think.
I suppose the atmosphere of where they're actually at that time, because you know yourself, being in the groups that you're involved with, it takes a lot for people to open up. And being ex-military as well, I actually see that a lot on Facebook as well. A lot of the soldiers who are actually coming out of their regiments, that's been their support group for past 20 odd years, 25 years. And then suddenly they're out there on their own. And there is quite a high rate of suicide still to this day with ex-military. And this is young guys. I saw one just a few weeks ago, and you're thinking, why? Why are they doing that?
Mm.
So obviously they're looking for some sort of support network as well.
Yeah,
And with something like Andy's Man's Club, that's an avenue for them to go to.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, as long as you identify as a man and you're over the age of 18, you're welcome to walk in.
Mhm.
There's no registration, there's no referral required, Not like you've got to get your doctor to send you along.
Yeah.
You literally just turn up.
Yeah.
And we don't take anything. We don't take addresses or phone numbers. All we ask is, what do you want to be called? So we know what to call you.
Yeah.
So it is very relaxed. It's more like going for coffee with your mates and
Well, it's funny you say that. I do cold water swimming and dipping with some friends.
The
And
wheel says off its head, by
we,
the way.
we do
Definitely.
we do it all year round, right? And yeah, there's the benefits of cold water therapy and things like that. But the benefit we get out of it isn't so much. It is the swimming as well because we're chatting and things like that. But it's the after where we all get together and we get camping stoves out and we cook a breakfast and we talk.
Mhm.
And then on the odd occasion, we'll have an overnight camp. Right now, I'm 58 this year, and my wife thinks I'm nuts that I'm still going out camping and things like that. But what we do is
I agree with
we basically pitch the tents, we sit around a fire, and we chat.
Yeah.
And nothing's off limits. And sometimes you'll sit there, and guys will come out and they'll just go, blah 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 blah, had a right rubbish weekend, and I'm going through this divorce, and they offload, no judgment, no anything like that. And the following morning, they're like, I feel so much better for that. So I
absolutely.
can see how Andy's Man Club, the similar thing where you're just coming along, nobody's judging. And I think the biggest thing for me sometimes when I offload with my friends and things like that is they'll say, yeah, I know exactly where you're at. I've been there or I'm going through that. And you realise, wait a minute, it's not just me.
Mm-hmm.
And it is this thing about it is good to talk.
Yeah.
And we there's no point in bottling it up, as you say, the generational thing with man up, put your big man pants on and get this done and just get on with it. I think those days are long. So I like the idea when you're saying there that you see the older generation chat with the younger generation, because I think the younger generations brought this on board easier to be able to say, I'm quite happy to open and talk about my feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the younger generation is getting better, and there has been some changes. And I think the younger ones are more likely to maybe open up. But just going back to your point there about that it's that common empathy. I remember sitting in a homeless hostel a few years ago, going, "Why me? Why am I the only guy going through this?" And then I
Right.
found Andy's Man Club, and I heard everybody else talking, and you go, "You know what? I'm not alone. There are loads of guys with
Mhm.
loads of problems.
Mhm.
Maybe not the same problem, but that kind of shared empathy that you're not alone. I found was a really big thing for me."
I suppose that's that old saying, isn't it? A problem shared.
I was
It's
just
a
thinking about
problem
that.
solved.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And then there was that other, I can't remember who said it, it's good to talk. So all this stuff's been going about for years, but you've kind of encapsulated that now, and it's in an area where I suppose people are feeling that it is safe to talk and it is good to talk.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
because I think one thing that also helps is there's that little bit of structure. So what we do is we pass a ball round. When the ball comes to you and you want to talk or answer the question, you can. If you just want to listen, you can pass it on. So that stops the cross chat.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, a couple of the key principles is that there's absolutely no judgment. And what's said in the room stays in the room.
Yeah.
And so, because I think that, again, there's that fear of, if I tell my workmate or I tell my colleague, are they going to laugh at me? Are they
Yeah.
going to go back and tell, or they're going to tell other mates, or, Ian's really struggling,
I think it's that fear of people thinking that you're weak.
Hmm.
In the sense, oh, you need that support network, and it's like we all need a support of some kind, and it's not a sign of weakness. It's just being human,
Absolutely.
and having that chat. But I totally agree with you say. I think and I think social media has helped in this regard and get that out there so that you see it and see things like Andy's Man Club and other organisations and realise it's becoming more commonplace. And it's becoming more natural to be able to go to these clubs and talk. So telling people how you feel is just human and natural.
I suppose social media, look, it can have its good effects, but it can also have its bad effects.
Yeah.
Or something
Yeah.
like that. And as you're saying, I think one of the main things what you're mentioning here though is confidentiality. So what's going on in that group stays within that group.
Yeah.
Because for somebody to actually pour their heart out, they're not wanting all that spread all over the place, or he's thinking about that and that, or he's done this, or they've done that. So to me, if I was to be involved in something like that, I think confidentiality would be a massive, massive thing.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And even to the point where I remember one guy and he went, "You're really rude." And I went, "How come?" And he went, "I saw you in Tesco's and you never stopped to say hi." And I went, "Well, yeah, you were with someone. They might not even know that you come to Nandy's Man
Yeah.
Club. So unless you approach me first, I'm not going to acknowledge you
Yeah.
because the person you're with might not know you come to the club." And he
You're
went,
quite right.
"Oh, yeah, I can."
So
I
you get the
that,
question, oh, how do you know him?
yeah, yeah.
And then
Yeah.
what do you do? So
So even down to, but yeah, confidentiality. The only time we would ever break it is if somebody disclosed something of the harm of ourselves or others.
Yeah.
And then we'd escalate appropriately. But yeah, I think that's one of the key things that you can say wherever.
Mhm.
Sometimes for the first time in their life and not get judged and going to
Mhm.
stay in the room.
yeah. Like just before we started, you were saying there is this the point where I tell you I've never owned a bike or never no idea. And we were saying that for a lot of bikers, the bike and riding as a group is their therapy.
Yeah.
It's for me personally, riding my bike either on my own or with my group of friends or with widow sons that I'm a part of is my therapy, is my release. And the aspect there is when we stop for a break for a coffee, that again we're chatting.
Yeah.
And it's I think it's having that common bond, and I think brotherhood is a great term for all of that. Brotherhood of bikers, brotherhood with the clubs, and being able to chat. And so I think whatever you can use to get people to open up
Yeah.
is a great
I could
aspect.
recommend bikes, by the way. Really.
Yeah. I've got an unpowered. I do a little bit of mountain biking. And yeah, just that getting out on your own, an hour away from technology and your
Mhm.
phone beeping
You
24/7.
can't think about that nonsense when you're on a bike. We've had two fantastic ride outs in the last couple of weeks. One to do a podcast and one out with our club on Sunday there. And to be honest with you, we all get a wee bit sort of downcast with various things that are going on in life. He's a busy man. He is a really busy man. I'm retired, so I haven't really got as much pressure as him. But the two ride-outs we've had over the last couple of weeks have given a massive, massive lift. So I'm looking forward to the next few weeks that are going on, especially getting back out on the bikes again. So as Steve said, that's our therapy, is what we need. It's our release. But same again, if we've got anything going on in our heads, we chat. We chat as a group. There's a lot of piss taking. There's a lot of that goes on. But there's a serious side to it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think everybody has to do something. I mean, I use the analogy of you can have good and bad physical health.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go to the gym every week for years, stop going to the gym and expect to still keep your physical health. And it's the same with mental health. You can have good and bad. As soon as you say mental health, everyone goes, oh, it must be bad.
Yeah.
You can be in a good place.
Yeah.
But yeah, the gym thing, so you have to work at your mental health. It might be reading a book, it might be walking the dog, it might be riding a bike, you know, it might be sitting at the beach with a coffee. Whatever it is, you need to do something to keep your mental health kind of in check, I think.
Yeah. I know a few people through business and connections who are involved in mental health first aid. And I think the first time I heard that, because I've done first aid training in the past, and it is very much the physical, you know, you see a cut, you see a burn, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you deal with mental health first aid? And it's interesting how people can dismiss that as being, oh, that's just, they're just, again, they're no manning up. It's on their head. It's not. But there is the aspect is there. I was at a bike festival last month, the Adventure Bike Festival. Bumped into a couple of guys, were chatting. A young guy, Anthony, who says, "Oh, I'm a mental health ambassador." You know, and we got chatting about it and things like that. And it was just the fact, again, talking about how you feel and knowing, you know, that there is something, that a place you can go to do that. And I think that's the biggest thing, is promoting and making people aware of that you don't have to bottle it in, that you can go to places like Andy's Man Club and come in and chat to people.
Yeah.
And it's there. I think what we've been trying to do in these podcasts, because we've got the bike in and we're Freemasons and things like that, is although people see them as different, I think everything is that interconnection.
Yeah, it's connected.
It's shared interests. We keep saying like-minded people. You know, the Freemason side is like a brotherhood again, the same as the biking, and it is all about knowing that you can go somewhere and chat to anyone. What for you has been the biggest struggle for Andy's Man Club over the years as building it and sort of getting that word out there?
I can't speak to the organisational struggle. I suppose the biggest struggle I hear is getting new guys through the door.
Right.
Because they don't know what's behind the door. They don't know how a session's going to run. And so a lot of my work is going and doing talks to companies or anybody who will listen to me and going, well, there's nothing to worry about. You know, this is what happens.
Yeah.
Because there's that fear of, and I hear it all the time. People going, "Oh, well, I got to the door and I sat in my car for 10 minutes, and then I just went home. Couldn't get through the door."
We get the same with the Masons. It's that first step. That first step to that door is always your hardest step.
Yeah,
and that's in any club or any society, isn't it? Really,
yeah.
it's that first step.
There was one guy I remember, and yeah, he'd walked around the block a couple of times with his wife and the dog, and I just thought, oh, they're just walking the dog, and then the wife kind of gently encouraged him and went, "Get in," and he went, "Oh, is this Andy's Man Club?" And I went, yeah, mate, and come in, and 2 hours later, he's like, "That was brilliant. I'll be back next week." You know,
just what he needed.
It's getting that foot over the door. It's Stuart was saying there, in Freemason, we have a saying, to be one, ask one, right? And it's along the lines of people don't know what goes in a lodge, and they've Googled stuff or they've seen what the previous sort of imagery of Freemasonry is on what other people think.
For the nonsense.
Yeah. And it's a simple case of, if you want to know what it's about, ask one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And for a lot of years, people kept that a secret. They didn't say they were a Mason. That's changed a lot. I mean, I love social media. I think it's a great tool for letting people get informed. And I've had people come and say, "Oh, I see you're a Freemason." And I'm like, "Yeah," and they start to talk about it. And I think it's a similar thing where you see at Andy's Man Club and the ambassadors that you have that are sort of out there promoting the organisation. It's like, well, yeah, maybe I know him. Maybe I could speak to him and say, well, what's involved? And it is just taking that step. And the easiest way to find out is just to come along.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and find out.
Absolutely.
If it's for you, great. If it's not,
well, at least you've tried it.
At least you've tried it, rather than not knowing. So I definitely see a lot of similarities in all the things that we do with what you're doing, and I certainly know there's certain links, because I know you're out at 580 at Lonehead and Last Wade. You have a club out there. So if anybody's interested, is it Monday nights?
Yeah, so all across the country, it always runs on a Monday. Do
Always.
you know why it's a Monday night?
No.
Statistically, people are more likely to take their life on a Monday than any other day of the week. And so that's why our clubs are on a Monday.
I had a funny feeling
right.
you were going to say that.
So there's loads of clubs around. You go on our website, you want to find the closest one to you. We also have online version, so you can do it from your house. But yeah, we've got the one in the Lone Head out there, the Masonic Hall there, and yeah, it's doing well. It's only been open just over a year, for about a year now, I think.
That's right, because
And,
it just recently celebrated, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're getting 28 to 30 guys every Monday. So
Good.
yeah, it's
So
doing well.
what could like some businesses, Masonic lodges, charities, and people like that do to help to get that message out there? Because we've been running like in the Masonic lodges for a while now, prostate champions.
Yeah.
So we've been pushing that out across all the lodges for quite a few years now, and we've got quite a few champions within the lodges and designated champions in each area. Would that be something that you guys do, or something that you're looking to do?
There's absolutely loads of ways of raising awareness for Andy's Mind Club. Start by talking to your mates, checking in with them, letting them know that there is a safe space to go along if they need. Some guys wear armbands. Some of the bin lorries in Edinburgh and Fife are wrapped. Every ScotRail train station in Scotland has a banner up.
Oh, right, okay.
I suppose it's about getting the word out there.
Yeah.
And whether that's me coming in and I've done talks to the lodge out in Lone Head, or I do lots of talks to various companies in the area, spreading the word, and especially a lot of times women go, can I join this talk? And I'm absolutely, because women are some of our biggest supporters.
All right.
Women are more likely to encourage the guys in their life to seek help than men are.
Is there a sort of similar support out there for women, like
There
Andy's Man?
there is, but there's not like a one big national kind of charity like Andy's Man Club. There's a lot of individual groups that run very similar for women.
I suppose you're talking like the Samaritans, you're talking Crisis, various other groups like
Yeah,
that.
no, but there's a lot of individuals. So, like in Dunfermline, there's one in the Vine Church there. I can't remember, they've just changed the name. It's a women's group, runs almost very much the same. Come along, get a brew, get a chat, and chat about whatever's happening in their life.
Yeah.
There's one in Glenrothes. So, yeah, there is individual women's groups around, and they run very much similar, but there isn't a big national one.
Yeah.
So apart from obviously spreading the word and letting people, is there any other way that people can help?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot all about that. So, I mean, there's lots of things people do. I met a guy yesterday. I had a coffee with a young guy called Tommy, and he's about to cycle from Musselburgh to Benidorm on his push bike to raise money for us.
Musselburgh to Benidorm?
Yeah, Musselburgh to Benidorm.
Oh, wow.
All to raise awareness and raise some funds. So, yeah, there's lots of people doing, whether it's bake sales, kilt walks, Great North Run, marathons. So, any type of sponsorship.
Right.
Is one way that people like raise awareness and money. The second one, I suppose, is companies, like a lot of construction companies or building sites might put our banners up, because obviously construction industry, a lot of male people work in there, and particularly bad for suicide rates as well, construction companies. Okay. So yeah, they have lots of banners up, and then it goes up to, if you go down south, there's stagecoach buses down south. I've got a couple of buses wrapped. TransPennine, I've even got a train wrapped. So yeah, the sky's the limit in terms of normalising it, and I suppose spreading awareness. If you see a billboard, if you go out to Livingston and the designer outlet, you see the electronic billboard with Andy's Mind Club. It's normalising it, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not this dirty secret. It's not this cloak and dagger under the table thing.
I must admit, I see quite a lot of it now, but up until it was a couple of years ago when you guys started off at the Lone Head, I'd never heard of Andy's Man Club. Never heard of it. And it wasn't until we were up helping out Lone Head 580 at the Lone Head Gala that Chris had this, and the guys had set up a stall just further along from us.
Mhm.
And they were really, really busy all day.
Yeah.
And they were saying to us, guys popped up here who are actually in tears. And we were like, really? It's going to have that much effect on people just having that channel,
Yeah.
that release. And it was a case of then, I must admit, I did sort of look at what you guys were doing a bit more after that. But up until that day, I hadn't even heard of it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where as much as we do promote it and we're on social media and we've got all these venues and lots of lads, there's a lot of people you talk to who've never heard of us.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just about spreading the word,
Yeah. And us being a predominantly male society as well in Freemasonry, it wouldn't go amiss as well to be spreading it amongst all the lodges as well. Even starting within the brigade, just to make a wee bit more awareness of it.
Yeah.
So if there's any lodges watching, if you want to get Ian in for a chat, you know how to do that.
Absolutely. I've given a chat to a couple of, but I don't think I'm breaking any secrets here. No. So
Well, you don't know any because you don't ride bikes as well.
no, I know on thin ice. I was going to say, so we had a problem where we used to use Inverkeithing High School, but the school shut down because they're building a new one in Forsyth now.
Right.
So we lost our venue, and so I went and spoke to Lodge 60 in Inverkeithing just last night, and then they were like, "Yeah, absolutely, come in, use us. We've got this amazing hall. We've got a kitchen, your brews." And so, we're going to be using.
I think there's lots of lodges out there that could probably help in that sort of way. If you were looking for different venues, I think it's because
it'd be an open door to them.
Yeah,
it certainly would be.
Because I think the whole point was we all say we Freemasonry as well is about making good men better, and it is the chatting and the socialise and things like that, and realizing that you're not alone, that you have got someone to speak to. Because if you don't have siblings or anything like that, and you're the sort of head of the family, it's like who do your family can come to you with their problems. Who do you go to?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think it comes back to what you said with the generational thing that you've learnt from your father and his father, that if you run it, you're head of the family, you just suck it up and get on with it. But you need to speak to, and they say that's why I like we go with the guys that go different way, the guys that we go riding way. So because people sense, your friends will sense, go, are you okay? You're not feeling your usual self. And it could just be something, a really bad day, but you feel better after letting that out and feeling that you have been able to speak to somebody.
But how many times have you asked your mate and you just go, "I'm fine"?
Yeah.
Because that's the standard stock answer that we all give.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm fine.
And the thing is, as well, is some people are really good at hiding, what's going on in their life. My daughter and I, we used to be right at the wrestling when she was younger, and there was a wrestler from I think it was Paisley. We had put on a charity show through here. The guys came through, done the show, and the wrestlers are great. They put on this great show, entertained the kids. I think it must have been a month later that we found out that one of the wrestlers had taken his own life, and it was as big a shock to all his friends that knew him than anybody else. And so it's like you just don't know what's going, and that's what he's saying. All you need to do is say, "Are you okay?" and hope that it isn't just, "Oh, I'm fine." That people can now get into the idea that it is okay not to be fine.
Yeah.
And speak to somebody about it.
Yeah. And you said there about a lot of the guys talk about wearing a mask almost. They have this outward facing mask, whether it's for their family or for their job, with everything's great. But, behind the mask, there's lots of guys struggling.
So coming back to if people need to find out where their local club is, you mentioned earlier about the website. Is that the best place to find where
Yeah.
they can go?
Jump on to andysmanclub.co.uk and we've got a find a club. And if you're on a mobile device with your GPS, it'll list your 5 closest clubs to you.
Right.
Common misconception. You don't have to go to your closest one. A lot of people go, "Oh, I might bump into someone I know."
Yeah.
Which is actually quite uncommon in experience. But you can go to any because they all run exactly the same. So yeah, jump on the website and it'll list your closest club. And if there's not one close to you, we do an online version as well.
Right.
Email us info@andysmanclub.co.uk and it runs exactly the same. Monday night, 7 to 9. Same 5 questions, but you can do it from your garden shed or your living room or wherever you've got a phone or a laptop.
Okay.
And same again for anybody looking to volunteer or looking to help out any of the clubs, get in touch with you via
Yeah. So if
website.
you want to help, whether it's sponsorship or awareness or you want to talk, just email in. A lot of our volunteers, most of our volunteers are guys that started going through the door.
Right.
So somebody that was in need went through the door, maybe a few months or a year down the line, they're feeling a slightly better place, and they go, I'll help, switch the kettle on and set the chairs up and ask the questions. And so I'd say most of our volunteers are guys that have kind of came in. And I think that's where you get that kind of shared life experience. Everybody in the room and everybody that works for the charity as well has all been through something, and started,
But I think that is actually a good thing as well, because if somebody's speaking to someone they know about it and they say, right, I see you help out at Andy's Man Club, they go, yeah, blah, blah, and they go, because I've been where you are.
Mhm.
And I think that could put someone else at ease, because they go, oh, wait a minute, we've known each other for years and I never knew that you were bottling it up. So that can also help get people across that door, that they know someone who's been through it
Absolutely.
and is there. So
And it helps with the trainings. You and I were discussing earlier. We've both been in Napier University, and they've been mental health awareness for many, many years with mental health champions, which I was for over 10 years, but also mental health first aiders. And as Steve was saying earlier, first time I'd even heard of that, because obviously I'd been a first aider for many years as well. We thought mental health first aid, but it's going in there carefully. I would always say, tread the water
Yeah.
rather than jump in,
Yeah.
and don't be a sponge.
I think the thing with Andy's Man Club is because it's peer-to-peer support, nobody's going to sit and go, well, you should do this and you should do that. It's more just about listening and empathy. And you know what? When I was going through a messy divorce, or when I was trying to give up alcohol, this is what helped me. Or I know exactly how you feel.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah.
It's
that not being on your own, I suppose.
Yeah.
Just letting them know.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing, when you realise that you're not the only one, or you're not
Yeah.
the only person that something's happened to. I think that can sort of take
Yeah.
a bit of pressure off your shoulders, and you suddenly say, oh, I'm not alone. I can talk to someone about it. And
Just that like-minded folk again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same.
Well, Ian, thank you very much for coming along.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having us on.
It's been a pleasure. Sorry for the delays on the bypass, but it's Edinburgh bypass, isn't it? As Ian mentioned, if you want to find out more about the clubs, please visit the website, or get in touch with us or through Facebook, and we can connect you with various connections. We will be putting some stuff on social media. If you get a chance, please like, share, comment, and if you can leave us a review on any of the podcasts, that would be brilliant. We're getting better, hopefully.
We are.
And we'll keep videoing it as long as it looks good. But thank you very much for all your support. We'll catch you again later, folks. Ride safe. As all, bye from Donkey.
And remember, folks, it's good to talk. Bye from Trog.
Take care.